And a little bit of passion afterwards.
Yep. That'll be the first personal, Carrington.
Bag, DiJonai, clout chaser, Carrington. Careful what you wish for, DiJonai. Be careful what you wish for. You're the one that circled 8/23 on the calendar. You're the one who tweeted out 8/23 as if it was some date we all should pay attention to. And people paid attention and saw you. Ooh, you had a bag.
If you thought the tension was over after last week's explosive moment involving Sophie, think again. The moment Sophie left the floor, DJ Carrington appeared to send a shocking message with a deliberate shoulder bump toward Caitlin Clark. Was it retaliation, a psychological move, or something much more personal? DJ eventually broke her silence, and what happened next left the entire arena stunned. Here's a closer look at what really happened behind the scenes.
On an absolute display versus the Chicago Sky in a huge win for the Indiana Fever. Take a look at this. The girl continues to just do the impossible. Caitlin Clark has more 30-point 10 assist games than the rest of WNBA history combined. She has more 30-point 10 assist games than the entire history of the WNBA.
Professional sports always seem to love creating a villain. But what happens when the supposed antagonist keeps turning every single rivalry into a lesson in how to completely undermine yourself on national television?
Like, just play basketball. Like, why is always got to be something with the same repeated offenders, man? Like, it's always like the less talented out of the group, right? The less talented ones always focus on everything but basketball. The ones that's talented, you know what they focus on? Putting the ball in the hoop. The ones that's less focused, that's less talented, you know what they focus on? They focus on being violent.
If you've been following the ongoing soap opera that is the Women's National Basketball Association this season, you already know DJ Carrington has seemingly made it a second full-time job to audition for the role of the league's ultimate court villain, only for nearly every dramatic attempt to backfire and turn into an unexpected spectacle on national television.
Just to get embarrassed by Caitlin Clark. The big bad wolf coming through, blowing houses down until she tried to blow down the Caitlin Clark brick house that was built by DiJonai. This lady was 3 for 11. 3 for 11, 0 for 3 from the 3. A terrible performance. My goodness. Tried to come out and take the show, right? Tried to create her moment. And guess what, DiJonai? Now your name is DiJonai Who Carrington.
The entire saga reached a completely new level of absurdity after that infamous altercation a couple of weeks ago, when DJ found herself ejected from a high-stakes matchup following a wild flagrant 2 foul on Sophie Cunningham. Just when everyone expected some reflection, calmer behavior, or at least a temporary break from the aggressive antics, DJ seemingly went in the opposite direction, turning her attention toward revenge and once again focusing on one of the league's biggest names, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark makes 8 3-pointers. The Indiana Fever win by 23 points. Great foresight on your end, DiJonai Carrington. Nobody asked you to clothesline Sophie Cunningham, go into the locker room and tweet, white privilege. Nobody forced you to do it, but you did it. And you put the spotlight on you. So coming into this game, we were all asking, what's DiJonai Carrington going to do 8/23? And she stunk up the joint.
What happened during their very next showdown was nothing short of a full theatrical production that could have belonged in its own comedy special, featuring dramatic side eyes, exaggerated reactions, and a shoulder bump so obvious that the entire arena seemed to respond with a collective shake of the head. To understand how this bizarre chapter of basketball drama unfolded, you have to go back to the plan DJ appeared to hint at on social media before the matchup. After being ejected during the previous meeting involving Sophie, DJ used her personal accounts to post a cryptic date marker, practically highlighting the exact day she would see Indiana again. It came across like a dramatic movie trailer, sending an ominous message that when August arrived, some form of payback was supposedly coming and nobody would prevent her from making a physical statement. The problem with publicly announcing your big return, though, is that you eventually have to support the hype once the game actually begins. Instead of stepping onto the hardwood looking completely focused, DJ seemed caught up in the drama, with attention seemingly directed toward the officials, the crowd, and the moment itself, while Caitlin Clark was simply going through her normal pregame routine and preparing to play basketball.
Care about basketball anymore. I don't care about basketball. The only thing that I care about is, can I go and clip farm on Caitlin Clark? Like, the second she checked into the game and does that, we're all like, here goes DiJonai. And then the next possession was this shit. She tries to start shit with Caitlin. Caitlin's just like...
The moment the game began, the intensity was obvious, but the tone was quickly established by how unfazed Caitlin appeared despite all the attention coming her way. During the second quarter, with Indiana holding a razor-thin lead, DJ was called for a defensive foul while trying to stop a drive from the point guard. Instead of simply getting back into position or joining the defensive huddle, DJ turned the moment into an impromptu performance in front of official Charles Watson. Standing on the court, she threw her arms around and exaggeratedly leaned her head and shoulders backward, seemingly trying to convince the officials and nearby fans that Caitlin had dramatically embellished the contact to earn the whistle. Then, just 40 seconds later, Caitlin received the ball on the perimeter, created space with her familiar step back, rose over DJ's extended hand, and knocked down a smooth three-pointer. As the ball dropped through the net, the tension only seemed to grow. With the score still close, DJ's frustration appeared to turn into another questionable moment. As Caitlin turned to run back on defense, high-definition cameras appear to show DJ moving away from her usual path and into Caitlin's lane, resulting in a noticeable shoulder-to-shoulder bump as the two crossed paths. It was a small but highly visible moment that immediately fueled the ongoing conversation surrounding their rivalry.
Getting used to play on the court as a rookie, but she brings a defensive mentality.
In the bear. Look at her. Once again, trying to create her moment. Look at her. Why you keep acting like I'm fouling you? Look, and then she's all in the ref face, spitting on him. Look at this. Somebody give her the t-shirt, man. Give her the tech. Give her the tech. Look at this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just guarding up. Okay. You want the smoke? Caitlin gonna give it to you. You want the smoke? She's gonna give it to you, man. Look, turn around, jump her in the eyeballs.
The funniest part of the entire exchange, though, was Caitlin's reaction to the contact. Instead of falling down, starting an argument, or demanding a technical foul, Caitlin simply stepped around the contact, lifted one hand, and waved DJ off as if the entire incident was barely worth acknowledging. Meanwhile, social media quickly exploded, with clips of the shoulder bump spreading rapidly and sparking thousands of reactions. The contrast between the two players could hardly have been more noticeable. One appeared determined to create another physical confrontation, while the player on the receiving end seemed far more interested in moving on and letting her basketball speak for itself. Time after time, whenever DJ attempts to get under Caitlin's skin through physical play, comments, or social media exchanges, the spotlight seems to shift right back toward Caitlin's performance on the court. Analysts and commentators also began breaking down the footage, noting that creating unnecessary physical moments against a player who is producing on the scoreboard can easily make the situation look more desperate than intimidating, especially when the final score tells a completely different story.
Telling us that Kelsey Mitchell gets shots for herself, but her gravity as well creates shots for others. Wow, the sky needed that one. Caitlin Clark off the dribble.
Caitlin Clark answered the bell tonight with a magnificent 37 points, 10 assists. She knocks down a career-high 8 threes, goes 8 for 12 from three-point range, was on an absolute heater tonight. You can't say enough about how she played tonight. The Fever win 113-90.
While DJ was dealing with foul trouble, arguing calls, and getting involved in those noticeable shoulder bump moments, Caitlin went on to deliver one of the strongest individual performances of her professional career. Across 32 outstanding minutes, Caitlin tore apart the opposing perimeter defense with remarkable efficiency, knocking down 8 three-pointers, finishing with 37 points and recording 10 assists. She turned the arena into her own shooting showcase, repeatedly connecting from deep while the defense struggled to keep up with her movement and shot-making. The irony became even greater once fans realized what the final result meant for both teams heading into the rest of the season. When the final buzzer sounded, the heavy defeat had officially eliminated DJ's team from playoff contention, bringing its postseason hopes to an end on its home court. The matchup DJ had seemingly built up as a revenge opportunity following the Sophie Cunningham incident ultimately became the very game that closed the door on her team's competitive season.
The Clark show that she put on in Chicago, any and everybody can get it. Was that white privilege? Well, wait a minute, DiJonai Carrington. Was that white privilege? 37 points. Was that white privilege? 10 assists, 37 point, 10 assists, double-double. Was that a white privilege double-double? Was that 8 3-pointers? Right in your eyes, hitting threes from Baghdad on Natasha Cloud, on you, on anybody. The girl was pulling up from the parking lot. Was that a part of white privilege?
Social media users quickly began reposting DJ's cryptic warning graphics alongside the final box score, creating a wave of memes that emphasized just how badly the entire revenge storyline appeared to have backfired. From the sidelines to the stands, the frustration was easy to notice as Indiana's lead continued to grow beyond reach. When a player puts so much energy into trying to intimidate an opponent physically, Caitlin didn't need to mention the shoulder contact or the earlier flopping accusations during the post-game press conference. Her performance had already delivered the strongest possible response. She played with a calm, focused approach that made all the extra drama seem insignificant by comparison, proving that sometimes the most effective answer to aggressive posturing is simply letting your basketball do the talking, producing a huge double-double and walking away with the victory.
Hey guys, I was critical of Caitlin Clark last night. She had a tough game, didn't show up. But guess what tonight? Backs against the wall. You need a win. People talking shit about you. This is what elite players do. You come back and you show the world who you motherfucking are. 37-10. No Aaliyah Boston. I don't want to talk shit about Aaliyah Boston.
The sheer amount of online discussion following the matchup showed that many fans have become increasingly tired of these one-sided rivalries that seem to exist mainly in the minds of the players creating the tension. Basketball fans enjoy intense, physical competition when two elite players are battling evenly and pushing each other to the limit. But when one player keeps creating unnecessary contact while the other is busy putting together record-breaking performances, it stops looking like a genuine rivalry and starts becoming a comedy of errors, only giving the targeted star even more motivation to become an unstoppable offensive force. What made the entire situation even more unusual was the context surrounding what had happened only weeks earlier during the game involving Sophie Cunningham. That original incident had already attracted significant attention from the league office, eventually leading to the foul being upgraded and an automatic ejection that left teammates and fans calling for greater discipline and accountability on the court.
All this nonsense, trying to mock, trying to get a reaction. You look childish and corny, then going down, shoulder bumping. Like, that's weird, bro. That is weird. And we got to start calling things for what they is. They're weird. People that do this is weird. Weirdos. That's just the truth. And this is what BLACK privilege.
Instead of reducing the aggression and returning the focus to fundamental basketball, entering the next matchup with an even bigger chip on the shoulder only seemed to highlight an unwillingness to adjust. Attempting a subtle shoulder bump against one of the league's biggest stars shortly after being involved in a major disciplinary ejection was already a questionable decision. But doing it while your team was being beaten by 23 points took the miscalculation to another level. As the viral footage continued circulating across social media platforms, basketball fans couldn't help but react to the sheer absurdity of the sequence from beginning to end. It felt like an entire 5-act drama compressed into a single stretch of basketball, showing why trying to rely on mind games against elite competitors can easily backfire in front of a national audience. In the end, the high-stakes matchup that was supposed to settle an old score ended up changing little beyond the playoff picture, leaving the instigators outside the postseason race, while Caitlin walked away with another impressive performance, a blowout victory, and her reputation as a composed scorer firmly intact.
She just can't get out of her own way at this point, huh? From raking people across the head, playing victim, staying white privilege, wearing a blonde wig at that, right? Going on your phone, breaking league policy, facing no punishment, showing black privilege in this league, going at the white girl once again on August 23rd. Although it was your funeral last night, Caitlin Clark led your funeral. I enjoyed watching your funeral last night. It was pretty.
DJ, meanwhile, was left facing the overwhelming online reaction that her repeated attempts to get under the league's biggest star's skin had turned into little more than a self-created punchline. If there was one lesson to take from this entire weeks-long storyline, it was that if you're going to build an elaborate revenge narrative on national television, you should probably figure out how to slow your target down before she drops 37 points. Beyond the viral memes and endless replay clips, the entire sequence highlighted a basic truth about modern sports entertainment. Raw talent is extremely difficult to outplay with mind games alone. Once the dust settled and the arena emptied, the perception surrounding DJ's ongoing battle had shifted from intense competitive energy towards something much more comedic. Caitlin, meanwhile, appeared to turn the added attention into motivation, using the extra intensity to create one impressive perimeter possession after another and giving social media plenty of highlights to discuss long after the final buzzer.
Level where, like, she might be on a minimum contract. She might be looking at being on a minimum contract next year. From people talking about, from being on a max contract last year, she could be on a minimum contract next year. Because she is she worth the drama? Is she worth the drama? Is her play worth the fact that she's going to smack at least 4 people in the head a season, and she is going to cause one national crisis?
The lasting image from that chaotic matchup won't be the aggressive physical exchanges, the dramatic reactions toward the officials, or even the subtle shoulder bump along the sideline. Instead, the game will likely be remembered for the irony of one player putting so much energy into trying to disrupt an opponent, only to watch that same opponent deliver a dominant double-double, secure a convincing blowout victory, and leave the team on the wrong side of the playoff picture. It serves as a clear reminder for anyone in the league who might consider starting a highly public feud without having the basketball performance to support it. At this level of competition, personal grudges, social media exchanges, and pre-game narratives can quickly become irrelevant once the clock starts running because the scoreboard ultimately provides the final word. In this case, the numbers told a completely different story, showing that genuine dominance on the court can overwhelm all the noise, distractions, and manufactured drama surrounding the game.